Today we are here with the queen of East Gwillimbury.
You're the best. That's awesome.
Miss Lee Lander. And it's an absolute pleasure to be sitting in front of her. And we're looking forward to this one because she's awesome. She's very unique in her approach. And listen in because there's lots of tips and tricks that are going to be coming your way that you can pick up on by learning from an all-star like this.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So Lee, tell me about how you kick fucking ass and own your territory.
Okay, how do I own it? So I think that how I own it is, first of all, I started with a big flyer campaign. So I've done that very consistently for 10 years. Every single month, a flyer campaign goes out. And it's very specific. It's not about get a load of me, look at me, I'm number one, look at all the houses I've sold. It's about like, this is your town. This is all the houses that are selling in your town. This is some information about your town. Second to that, I am very involved in boards of our town. I'm involved in the chamber of our town. I go to council meetings at our town. I sponsor sports teams and I actually attend the games as opposed to just putting my name on a jersey like every other realtor puts their name on a jersey. I sponsor events through the town. And again, instead of just sponsoring it, we show up, we give gifts, we interact with the families. So I'm not just like selling in my community, I'm actually in my community.
Right.
And people say all the time, like, oh, I see your pink and black signs everywhere. That's Lee Lander or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
And that's how I've done it. Just being very, very involved.
Awesome. As it's been about a year now, I've picked up most recently that you've transitioned a lot of your marketing into the video format, right? So talk a little bit more about how that's worked for you and how you're liking it. And, you know, when you first got into it, how you're kind of working through sorry, I fucked up the question.
No,
sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. So it's been about a year now since you've really transitioned a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing on the social medias into the video marketing. Talk a little bit about how that's working for you as opposed to maybe a little bit more of the old school marketing tools that you use, print and distribution, whatever else.
I think what it does is it's one more thing that people get to sort of check you out, right?
Right.
So all the things that people think are old school, like maybe even websites or whatever, it's just that they see you, then they want to check you out, right?
Right.
The video allows them to really check you out.
Right.
So there's no surprise who I am. There's no surprise how I talk. It took me a long time. I say words wrong. I think I stutter sometimes. I mean, we all have these like insecurities, right?
Yeah.
And I just decided, you know what? That's it. I'm going to do it. And recently we did a clip of sort of like how it started and how it is. And it's crazy to look back and see like how far I've come. But I just feel like I have something to say and I think people want to hear it. And I think I have a unique way of looking at things. And so it's going great. And I hear people say all the time, like, oh, I loved your video or I learned this. I didn't know that. And I think that's going great.
Yeah, very cool. And you always sound so clear and on point with your delivery. So
thank you.
Yeah,
I think I do it fast so I don't stutter. I'm like, just say it, get it out there.
Yeah. And that's so cool just to bring it back a little bit in regards to your involvement in the community and you really helping build not only the community, but the culture and getting involved, rolling up the sleeves and contributing and giving back to those who give to you, right? And what is it that you look to grow within your umbrella and your portfolio? Are you going to stay to this area? Do you want to look at another area and do the exact same for? Like, is there a strategy and plan on that, or is it?
So, I mean, I live in East Gwillimbury, which is about 45 minutes north of Toronto. So that's the town I live in. And so that's the town I've put most of my marketing dollars into.
Okay.
But I sell sort of all around that area. So I mean, I don't sell Toronto. I don't sell what I don't know. How's that? So if I know it, I'll sell it. If I don't know it, I won't sell it. I would rather refer it to someone great who knows it and can do a good job with it. So I think I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. It's working for me. And it helps when the town you're farming is growing. Because then I'm not really having to try to find more people because the people are coming to us, right? So I think that's the plan for now.
Yeah, and growing exponentially. You were just saying a little earlier, it was 60%?
It's up 62% since I started in real estate in 2007. 62%.
Wow. That's big.
And it's still growing and growing and growing. And it's just, everyone kind of thinks East Gwillimbury is Newmarket because they seem like they just mesh together. But we really are our own town, East Gwillimbury.
Right. And we'll watch one of your videos too, and you were talking about how you get a lot of satisfaction when buyers finally find the one that they love or that they like after going through so many listings. Talk to me a little bit more about what that looks like, and the satisfaction that you get from that on a day to day when you do find that right one for your buyers.
I think that when you've been doing something for 16 years and you still get joy from something, you know you're doing the right thing, right? It is just an amazing feeling, because I think I'm like generally a nurturer and a caregiver. And so when you're working with people and you can see they have that fear, right? There is a fear, and someone's been in a house forever and they can't just see themselves in that other house. And as soon as they see themselves in that other house, the look they get of relief, or like, oh, this is the one. And now that like the market's changed and we're not crazy in multiples, like before you had to kind of like minimize their engagement with the house almost because you might not get it. Now you're like, we probably can get it. We might even be able to put a condition, right? Yeah. So it's just so nice. And when you go back and visit after and they're so happy, and it feels nice when they involve me in things and they invite me to barbecues and stuff, like that's what it's all about, right? Absolutely. Friendships and relationships. That's really how I've built my whole business.
Yeah, and enjoying that journey, right? And showing up. I remember watching this little clip the other day, and I actually reposted it, when it comes to like someone that's having fun at work and really enjoying it, how it's just like it's very hard to compete with that person because they're just going so hard, so quick, and they love it. It doesn't feel like work, right?
Right. My kids always say, oh, you love real estate. And I used to defend myself because I didn't feel like they might have been saying it in the nicest way. And the other day I was like, you know what? You're right. I fucking do love real estate. I love real estate. I love everything about real estate. And I mean, are there times I'm not loving something going on? Absolutely. But in general, you know, I don't have a huge, big education, and I came into this and I've grown it my way. Yeah. And I think that is why I love it, because I really have grown my business my way. I probably have actually done the opposite of how every person would tell you how to grow your real estate business. Yeah. And I would always listen to what people would say, and I would think, yeah, I don't think that feels like me. Like, if you want to door knock, have at it. I have never, and I never will. And if I did, like, the look on my face when you open the door, I'd be like, because for me, it's not me. If it's you, great, but it's not me, right? Yeah. And so I have been able to like not only grow this business the way I want it, but grow it through all the seasons of my life, right? From having, when I first started, a 9 and a 19-year-old, to then having growing kids, and then opening my own brokerage, and now having grandkids. And all of them know that they come first. Our son played university football out on the East Coast. We flew out to every single game, every Saturday. I never missed a game. We fly out in the morning, watch his game, kiss him, tell him we loved him, fly back. Nice. And that's the whole reason we do this, right? So we have the freedom to do the things we want for our kids and for our family. Right. So I hear all this, like, you have to get up at 5 a.m. and you have to make 200 calls. I don't. And it seemed like it's working for me. So right. You can do it your way.
That's awesome. And big shout out. Like, you look so awesome. She has 2 grandchildren.
Thank
Who would have
you.
guessed, right? 6 and 2, you were saying?
The loves of my life. They are my everything. They call me Jammy. Yeah. Okay. My oldest couldn't say "g" when he was first born, so he calls me Jammy. Okay. So I am Jammy, and
cool.
They are the love of our lives.
That's awesome. Yes. So shout out to you for that. And you stay in great shape. You're running a business that has a lot of moving parts. You're doing fantastic. Tell us a little bit more about what keeps you performing on an optimal level, and some of these habits that maybe you can give some tips and tricks to the younger entrepreneurs listening in.
Yeah, absolutely. So I opened my own brokerage 5 years ago, and I did that because I am very type A personality. I like to control everything. And the only way I felt like I could control the experience for my clients was if I controlled the experience for my clients. So if I hired the employees that I knew were interacting and I was doing those things. The second thing that was huge to me is I wanted to be able to control my environment. And I found in a lot of the big brokerages, there's some negativity and there's some backstabbing and there's some, must be nice, or what's she do for business? And like that all brings me down, and I don't want to be a part of that. Yeah. I want to be up. I want to be on top for my clients, and I want to be cheery and happy, and I want to make their experience great. And you can't do that if you're feeling, oh man, must be nice, right? Yeah. So I opened that 5 years ago, and it's just a boutique brokerage. There's only 4 realtors there, myself and 3 others. And then we have 2 admin, and I love it. It's perfect. Every time I'm there, we bought our own unit, I guess 3 years ago, and we renovated it exactly. It's so us and so me, and it's so pink, and I love every part of it. And so that's all going great, and it's a good step for us to have our own space and our own location. And I think the big thing is you don't have to be like anybody else, right? Like, everyone always says to me, oh, you should start a team. You should have a big team. And I'm like, why? I don't want a team. Like I want, when you call me to list your house, I want you to have me. And
Yeah.
I want that experience to be with me. And so how I do that, I think I probably sell 60 or 70 houses a year. Wow. And how I do that is I have the best assistant ever. And we have a plan.
There she is.
The best assistant ever.
She was smiling.
Yeah, she's awesome. And we work together. And the joke in our brokerage is always like, did someone die? And we say that because I want them to feel like they can try things and do things. Nothing's passing through that office that I'm not seeing. And you can't make a mistake. Nobody is going to die. It's real estate. Nobody is dying. We're fine. Like you can make a mistake and we can fix a mistake. And so I want that culture to be one that they don't feel like there's a pressure or tension, that we're all helping each other.
Right. Very cool. So, and with that being said, you get to, I guess, spend a lot of time with each of these individuals because there's not so many people and you're not scaling, at a rate where they can't get leads. So I'm sure that on a day-to-day basis, everyone in that office gets a certain amount of attention from you, which is awesome, right?
Absolutely. I'm always there for them. They text, they call. We have meetings all the time. We we do webinars and we learn from each other. And I mean, they're not just learning from me, I'm learning from them. Like that's the most awesome part, right?
Yeah.
The key to all of them is they all think like I do. But what I mean by that is the customer really is first and the experience is first. And it's not about your commission and it's not about your awards. I mean, it's big award season right now. And we're all saying cheers for breathing. Hear you breathe. Here's an award. And I mean, really, half of these awards are poverty level by the time you pay all your bills. It's true. That's true. There's a $60,000 award. I know you're going to edit that. There's a $60,000 award. That's ridiculous. Like after you pay all your fees and bills and so like what I want it to be is about their experience that they give to the client. And I want them to, someone sees Lander Realty, that they know that they're getting a great experience with that realtor, not being passed off to someone who's just in it for the money.
Yeah, right. It's very cool. I was actually talking to my partner about this the other month, and we're going to arrange an internal awards ceremony, and all this. The ceremony is just for the Spark team, and it's to just talk about and empower and show everyone on the team one another's strengths. So we're going to create different awards.
Oh, we did that one year,
right?
yeah.
And just continue to have that be our award ceremony, right?
Yeah.
But I know what you mean when it comes to that. It's just like there's nothing like high-fiving and having a solid vibration moving in and around the room. So good on you for that. That's cool. CrossFit. How does this grandmother keep fit?
So I'm going to say, so Bear was born 6 years ago, December. And everyone was like, oh, you're such a young grandma. And I was like soaking it all in. Yeah, I'm such a young grandma. Yeah. And I was out showing houses and I got to the top of the stairs and I had this I was totally out of breath. And I had this thought, yeah, you're a young grandma in an old ass unhealthy body. Like it's like this snap for me. And I was like, okay, no, this has got to change. So I've actually lost almost 90 pounds.
Holy.
And kept it off and maintained it. And Jeff and I started at CrossFit. That's my husband. Nice. 5 years ago. And we go at 6 a.m. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And nice. I used to say I went to the gym and then I would be planned to go for 2 and then be like, someone needs to see a house. Like, what kind of a realtor would I be if I didn't show the house? Yeah, and then I wouldn't go to the gym, right? So no one's looking at houses at 6 a.m. So it's our thing. Yeah, and that's what we do. I was at my daughter's house the other night and I was Barrett, our one that's 6, was like, take me up the stairs. So I throw him on my back and I run up the stairs. And I said to my husband after, he probably thinks every grandparent throws their grandkid on their back and runs up the stairs. Half the time I have 2 of them in my arms. I strictly, it's nice to look nice and feel nice, but it's better to be able to do all the things and all the running around and to be a great example to them. They'll be like, oh, were you at the gym? They know we get up, we go to the gym. It's, it's a great example for them to see that, I'm 53 now, so you can live a good, healthy, long life, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And nothing like getting it done in the morning, so you got the rest of the day ahead of you. The blood's flowing nicely, feeling really good, setting a solid example. Awesome. Very inspirational.
Big into coming home, and then I journal every day. I do gratitude every day.
5-minute journal?
I don't do the 5-minute journal. Okay. I just I used to do one like that, but now I just handwrite a journal. Nice. I joined a mastermind with a coach called Kathleen Cameron. I don't know if you know her. Okay. She's with Diamond Academy. So I started that in October, and that's been great. I've met lots of wonderful people, and you see things from a lot of different perspectives, and people are from all over the world, which is really cool to see too,
cool.
right?
Yeah. Nice.
That's the good thing about like all the Zoom and all the online. Like that has been a wonderful thing that's come to us out of all of this. That's not been great is like all the connections of people you never would have connected with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just streamlining and making certain things in business so much more efficient, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tell us a crazy story, Lee. Crazy
Story.
Almost crazy.
Like an embarrassing story of something that happened?
Crazy to the point where you don't want the cameras to capture it, but today they're going to capture it.
I'll tell you a crazy story about something that happened to me. Is that good? Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So I was working with this young fellow. I don't know. He was in his early 20s. He owned like a skateboard company. Like he was like this super cool guy. And so I was like out showing him some houses. And of course I was in a dress. And I had high heels on. And he opened the back gate. We were looking at like some of these houses in a bit of a rougher area that he was going to invest in. And so he opens the gate and I go to step and there's like this wiggly stone. And he asked me a question at the same time. So I like turn to like answer him. And I go like ass right over to you, like I'm like on the ground laying like this, and he runs right over and he's like, oh my God, are you okay, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm okay. He's like, of course I had a sweater on that had like fur, so like all these leaves and grass. He's like picking it off my sweater. He's like, all right. And he goes, you took that like a champ, like you rolled. And I was like, yeah. So he like walks me to my car. Like, you know how, have you ever heard that joke? Like if you want to find out if you're old, like fall in front of someone and see if they like run to you or laugh. If they run to you, you're old. Okay. I'm old. Okay. So he like walks me to my car and he puts me like in the car and he's like, you're okay, right? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm okay. So he shuts the door and then by myself, I'm like, I am not okay. Like it was the most embarrassing thing in my life.
Nice.
It was crazy.
You end up transacting? Or?
Yeah. I helped him buy and sell a house. Yeah. Oh yeah. He started joking about
that.
Yes, he makes all the jokes about what he started like, we went on Wikipedia to find like all the words you would call it, like not just a wipeout, like I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. That was not funny. It's not funny anymore. Yeah. I do tons of embarrassing things. That's just like my thing.
Nice.
I'm terrified of rodents.
Okay.
Terrified. So I warn my clients if we're going somewhere downstairs, I'm like, just so you know, like if we see a mouse or a rat, I will be on your shoulders. I will swear and I will not apologize. Like we'll be done. That will be it. Right. Yeah.
Very
terrifying.
Cool. Nothing like transparency and
be honest, right? He should be aware, or they should be aware. I will be on your shoulders. I think it's fair.
Anyone in particular that you don't like? Well, you don't like them all, but that's at
mice
the
and
top
rats.
of that list.
Ugh.
Mice and rats. Okay, now we're 1 and 2. Which one's 1?
Oh, I don't know. I can't even rank them. They're both so. Here's like something to know about Lee Lander. I'm also very afraid of cats.
Okay. Oh wow. Check
I don't know why. Oh, I do know why. I didn't know why for years. And when I was first a new realtor, I was telling my mom a story because you get these notes about showings, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't let the cat out, whatever. So I was telling my mom this story about like the cat trying to get out and me like swooshing the cat back and shutting the door at the same time. And I don't know why. Like we have horses, we have dogs. Like I don't know why I have like full sweats about cats.
Yeah.
A lot of stories in our family start like this. I'm not sure if it was you. Like you could have lost a leg. My mom wasn't sure if it was you, right? It was one of you. She goes, oh, you were little. You were in a snowsuit. You were walking towards somebody. And I guess the snowsuit was going like this and the cats. So maybe you'd want to tell me that before I was 38. So I didn't just think I was like absolutely insane. But yeah, very afraid of cats. And people don't like you if you're afraid of their cats. So if you're at a listing appointment, you have to pretend like you like the cat. And the cats, no. They like jump on my shoulder, like my back. They'll like go on your papers. I'm like,
a little bit of acting.
They know those cats.
They feel the energy. Right on. Husband and wife combo at work. How does that look? How does that work? What do you guys do to keep things smooth?
So Jeff was in the corporate world for years.
Okay.
His last job was with Mercedes-Benz corporate. Got lots of free cars. That was great. That was the saddest part about him leaving his job. You know you have to pay for cars. Did you know that?
Okay. When you work there?
When you don't.
Yes, I do.
When he left. So he came on to help sort of do the back part of the brokerage.
Okay.
So all the things I'm not good at, Jeff is good at. So we very much stay in our own lanes, like to the point where like sometimes one of the realtors will ask a question. I'm like, that's a Jeff question.
Nice.
So I'm like, if you have negotiation question, a real estate question, I'm all that. If you have a money question, a deal question, a tax question, Ask that guy. Yeah.
Very
So
cool.
it's good. He has his own office. I have my own office. I do think we do a pretty good job of staying in our own lanes.
Nice. That's
Or
awesome.
telling each other to get back in your own lane.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome. And he was how was the transition from when he came into the real estate market from the corporate world there?
Yeah, so he's not a realtor, so he just does the back office stuff.
Okay.
I think it was tough at the beginning. I think there's this perception that men should support women. So when Jeff and I were first married, I owned a hair salon. I sold the hair salon. I came home, did a little bit of hair, and then started getting into real estate when my kids were a bit older. And it really only was ever going to be for me and our family and maybe some friends. And then like 16 years later, here we are. This is never what I thought it was going to be. It just grew to this.
Right.
So I never got into real estate to be a full-time realtor. Isn't that funny? But it's just how it happened. So for probably 5 or 6 years, we were in a financial position where Jeff really could leave the corporate world and come and help me.
Yeah.
But I think that it was hard for him to get his head around the idea of that, which my joke now is always like laugh it up as a joint bank account. But the funny part of that is it is a masculine thing, I think, that he had to sort of get his head around.
Right.
And once he did, now like the business never could have grown to what the business is if I didn't have Jeff, because he is so good at all the things that I am not good at. Like even like all the agent corporations, we had an agent corporation through Remax originally. Like I never would have done that. I would truthfully just give 51% of every dollar to the government and not like, I could never figure all that out, but he does. So that's good.
Yeah.
He's good at all that. Yeah.
Back
so it's
end
good.
operations, QB, very cool. You need a front and back. That's awesome.
And you have to do like, that's not my God-given gift.
Yeah.
And like sales and people would not be Jeff's God-given gift. He always says he would kill somebody. So
Shout out, Jeff.
yeah.
Love the part in regards to that unique strategy that you have when it comes to the print and distribution campaign, and how when you're curating this graphic design and what turns into a flyer, you're providing a lot of information that provides the client value through education on what's happening in that specific market that you're specializing in, and how that really entices them to pick up the phone and give you a shout and have you, look at what it is they could start to do with you on the real estate side of things.
Yeah, so I started those flyers actually 10 years ago, June. I looked it up before I came here.
Oh,
So
wow.
10 years ago, I've been doing those. So I think a few things. A, I am very consistent. We do it every single month.
Okay.
And I think that's huge. But B, there is not one thing on that. So I know everyone's going to tell you flyers are dead, don't do them. Don't do them if all you're telling people is shit that they can already see online.
Yeah.
That's a waste of your time and your paper and resources, frankly. But what mine is telling them is, so East Gwillimbury, the town that I farm, has 4 different little burbs. So it's broken down into a chart, and the 4 burbs say how many houses sold, what the average sale price was, what percentages of whether it's up or down, how many houses are available. And on the back, it's always something community related. So something that's going on in the community that month to get them out and participating in the community. So I knew I had something actually the first month I went to drop that off. And we had to drop them off at 4 different post office at the time. And the ladies working at the post office were pulling it out and they were like, oh, I live in Sharon. Wow. And then the next one was like, oh, I live in Queensville. And as soon as that, I was like, oh, I'm on to something.
Yeah.
And so I've had a lot of realtors try to copy what I do, and they never do, because A, they're not consistent about it. It's expensive. So I can see why you wouldn't be. But we track our numbers every year, and we make we make 6 figures plus that we can count right back to those numbers. So when I meet with some people, sometimes I'll come to their house, and like especially older people maybe, and they'll have like a stack like this of cards that they've kept over the years, or I'll bang into them and they're like, that's your best marketing piece ever, because people really don't want to know about me. They want to know about their house. They want to know what it's worth. They want to know about their community. And then if they want to sell their house, then they want to know about me, right? As opposed to get a load of me, look at all the houses I sell, right?
Yeah. Awesome. And then just that consistency, staying in their face, understanding that you're there, even if they're not looking to sell right then and there, right? And it's 3-4 years down the road, they know they're calling Lee, right? Because of how on top of it and how much you stay in tune with what's going on in that specific area.
I think that whether you're selling your house or not, everyone wants to know they made a good investment.
Right.
So I mean, everywhere you go, if you go to a party, if you say you're a realtor, like you can just spend the night sitting talking about real estate, right? People always want to know about the value of their house.
Yeah.
So that's just giving them information that they maybe could get online, but not put together the way we put it together.
Right.
So
right,
I think in everything, consistency is huge. In everything I do, everything I've done in my whole life, consistency is the big part of it, right?
So if you isolate that one campaign, and in light of what this podcast is all about, what would it cost, right? And what does that ROI look like?
So it costs me about $3,000 a month to print the flyers and to mail the flyers out. Mm-hmm. And I think last year, the number, I'm going to look at Kaylee for a second. Would it be fair to say it was over 250,000, Kaylee? Yeah. Okay.
So 36.
You do the math. You're the smart guy with the math.
Yeah, it's like 8 times.
It's huge.
Yeah. That's good.
And it is. And every time I see someone post about, how old school flyers are, I never comment because I'm like, yeah, you keep thinking flyers are old school. Yeah, go with that. Flyers are old school.
Yeah, right
I think that you have to do everything though. Like if I'd have just stayed in, like I have tweaked my marketing along the way to make sense to a wider variety of people. And I know the thing right now is niche down. I think know what you know. And talk about what you know and explain to people and let them feel like they have the knowledge to then do what they want to do.
Mm-hmm. The Queen of Gwillimbury.
Yes, I want you to call me the Queen. You can. The Queen of East Gwillimbury. That's right.
Thank you very much for tuning in to What Would It Cost? As always, please, we'd really appreciate it if you'd like and you'd subscribe. But we had an awesome show today, and we just want to say thank you. And we're very grateful for you taking time out of your busy schedule to come sit with us here and have some fun, right?
My pleasure. It was great to meet you in person. Thank you very much for having me.
No problem. So tell them a little bit more about where they could find you and your handle and your number, email, or whatever point of contact. Your beautiful assistant there, what her number is. If that's where they got to go and contact her. But yeah, let them know on the camera.
So you can reach my Instagram is leelander.realtor. My Facebook is also leelander.realtor. My website, leelander.com. My cell number, everything is on there. You can reach out to me anytime. I'm happy to help or answer questions or explain to you how I did things. Can I talk about coaching for a second?
Sure. Yeah, go for it. Anything you want to plug. Yeah.
So recently I've started doing some more one-on-one coaching with those realtors that sort of are in that in-between spot where they're having some success, but they don't know how to get any further than that. Okay. And I feel like I have a blueprint of someone who's actually doing it, actually someone who's doing 7 figures plus a year and has done it their way without giving up time with my family and my grandkids and my health and all of those things that go along with that. So that's my next big step.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Thank you.
Very cool.